Welcome to the Undisputed podcast. I'm your host, Joy Taylor. On today's show, after beating the Cardinals on Monday Night Football, what stood out most about the Dallas Cowboys? Plus, what to make of the pre-anthem demonstration held by the Cowboys and owner Jerry Jones. And was LeBron James being honest when he said he would have deferred to Kyrie Irving? Skip, Shannon, let's get to it. Let's get it started with the Cowboys. They got a big win on the road last night in Arizona, 28-17. Dallas had a rough first half with only 16 passing yards, but the offense finally showed up in the second half. Dak Prescott finished with a touchdown run and 2 touchdown passes in the win. Let's take a listen to the Cowboys on Dak's performance.
What did you think of Dak's toughness tonight?
I thought it was remarkable. When you play quarterback and things don't go well again and again and again, and it's hard to get into rhythm, sometimes you start forcing things. And I just think his mental toughness is off the charts. And he demonstrates it week in and week out. And, throughout that ball game, things didn't come easily to us. And he just kept battling. He kept making good decisions. Obviously, he made some great plays out of the pocket. He made some big-time throws. But as much as anything else, he's got an amazing spirit. And it's contagious, and our players follow him.
Dak was an animal today. He came out there and made some big plays. Sometimes he had to use his feet to get out the pocket and make those downfield throws. But, he was out of himself today. He played amazing.
Shannon, how impressive was Dallas last night?
Skip, did you see that touchdown run by Dak?
No, what happened?
I thought the NFL had caught up to that type of play. Oh, never mind, Skip. We talk about that later. We'll get to that later. That zone read, the NFL had caught up to that play. But we'll talk about that later. Skip, I was impressed. You know why I was impressed, Skip? I was impressed with they scored 27 points with as little as they had the ball. You think about it, less than 25 minutes, 45 plays. And for you to have the ball that amount of time, that little amount of time, and with that few plays, you have to be perfect. A turnover gets you beat. Simple as that. And that offense didn't turn the football over. They didn't put their team in harm's way. So I was impressed with that aspect. But Skip, I think even you would have a little concern because they don't look as dominant as they did last year. Zeke's just not rolling out of bed getting 130. That offensive line doesn't look as dominant in the run game or the passing game as they did last year. So that should cause you some concern. Now, you should be happy DeMarcus Lawrence lead the league in sacks. Skip, I didn't see this. I saw him flash a little bit, Skip, but Skip, he's legit. This dude has a chance to be a 15, 16 sack guy.
By the way, last night, he was DeMarcus Lawrence Taylor.
Yeah.
Right? Just for one night.
The past 2 weeks. He gave it to Denver, too. Yeah. He gave it to Denver also. So I'm concerned. I'm more concerned now about their offense than their defense. For the simple fact is that they're not as dominant. They used to make teams have the ball only 45 plays. The opposing team only had the ball 30 or less minutes. Now that's the flip side. Skip, this is not a recipe that's sustainable against good teams. You're going to give the Atlanta Falcons 30 more possessions. You're going to give the Green Bay Packers 30 more possessions. The Kansas City Chiefs are on the schedule.
They are.
You're going to give them 30 more possessions. Now, when you play a team, look, a lot of people held out hope thinking the Cards were going to be something. Cards aren't very good. I don't know what.
I will disagree with you on the defensive side of the football. I think they're very good.
Well, I think their best defensive player is in Jacksonville now, or at least one of their top two, Calais Campbell.
Well, that corner's pretty good. He was on Dez all night and locked him up.
But Skip,
Peterson.
If you think about it, okay, he's played 3 games. He's played against 4 big dogs, Roby, Talib, Harris Jr., Jack Rabbit, 5, and Pat Peterson. When he goes against other boy dogs that want to put hands on him, you see what happens to him. But you know what? Dak Prescott didn't force the issue. Went to him a couple of times. Hey, I give you. Dez bullied his way into the end zone.
Did.
Everything is happy. But Skip, considering the limited amount of plays that they had the ball and the limited amount of time that they had the ball, for them to put up that many points, you have to be impressed with what they did last night.
Thank you very much. I was extremely happy that they won, but I will be the first to admit to all of your points, I'm very concerned with how they won.
Yes.
Because it was rather miraculous how they won, and I will take it because all those other teams loom down the schedule. Green Bay looms. The whole NFC East looms. The Redskins, who suddenly look like the second best team.
Oh, my cousin gonna get paid. Oh, Kirk gonna get some money. All of a sudden you don't want him to keep him now, huh?
I still want him to keep Kirk
Okay.
Cousins. We'll get to that later in the show. My point is that in the big picture, all of a sudden, this team is flipping last year's script in back-to-back games. You realize that not once last year did my Cowboys get blown out. There was no bad game the whole year, unless you want to say the very last game that they mailed in at Philly when they had clinched. But even the two giant losses, which were the only two real losses, 20-19 and 10-7, and then that 42-17 thing happened a week ago, Sunday in Denver. And then last night, to all your points, what was the MO last year for my Dallas Cowboys? The Dak attack.
Yep.
It was clock eating, long drives, keeping the defense out of harm's way, as you point out. They were second in the NFL last year in time of possession, and they were number one in the NFL in 5+ minute drives. And last night, Arizona ran 75 plays to their 45 plays. Is that not a recipe for disaster in the desert?
Yes.
Against a Carson Palmer who, if you give him just a little bit of time, he can still bombs away you. He's still got a big arm, and he's smart, and he's got weapons on the outside. So I am holding my eyes the whole night because you're asking the defense on a really, I know it's indoors, but it was a hot, sweaty night indoors. There was a lot of cramping going on, and DeMarcus Lawrence had to keep getting subbed out because he's just gassed.
Yeah.
And how can they hold up? How can they hold on? I wasn't sure. And then you look at the offense, that best in the NFL offensive line. Not last night, not in Denver. I thought they got their golden tails whipped about 2/3 of the time last night.
Yes.
They couldn't run block, and they couldn't pass protect. Really? And I look at Ezekiel Elliott. He had 4 nice runs. A couple came late. But I look at the totality of what happened. On 18 of his 22 carries last night, he had a total of 15 yards. Think of that. So on 18 carries, he had 15 total yards. Was he going nowhere slowly? I mean, I'm tweeting about he doesn't look right to me, like he had lost his 5th gear. I didn't see the acceleration. I thought he was losing some confidence, couldn't find a hole, and he was just sort of falling into the hole. And I'm thinking, you're going 2 for 9 on 3rd down, and you think you're going to win this game? And guess who said we're going to win this game? That quarterback is special, man. I can't campaign about these statistics. 13 of 18 for 183 yards. But I'll push his QBR, which is 86 on a scale of 0 to 100, and he deserved at least that, because what happened when they couldn't make a play on offense? Did he finally just take it upon himself to say, okay, it's 7-0, I guess I have to make a play?
Yep.
Would I advise this play to be made over and over and over again? No. I would not, because you're not going to last long making that play. Was that not a crucial play to be made at that point in the ball game?
Sometimes you have to do what you
Sometimes you just got to do what you got to do. And you got to do that off the zone read that you said has gone completely out of style because somebody's out of the league, maybe. Who knows?
The NFL had caught up to that play.
I thought so. But you need it, and you go do it. And if it takes backflipping over 2 defenders into the end zone, you just do it.
Yep.
I was, when he's about 2/3 of the way through the backflip, I'm thinking, uh-oh. This is neck injury waiting to happen, but he came down. He stuck his landing, right?
But you'd rather for him to go over the top than lower that shoulder.
I guess so.
You don't want him lowering the shoulder.
Yeah, but whatever, however you got to get in,
exactly.
You get in.
Yes.
So he took it upon himself to go 10 yards for a touchdown. And then what are the other 2 biggest plays of the game? He made them outside the pocket. He couldn't do much in the pocket because he couldn't get much time in the pocket. And I'm going to point out the fact that you realize Cole Beasley was the leading receiver on this team last year. He caught 1 ball last night for 4 yards.
Yep.
I'm going to remind you that so far this year through the first 2 games, the leading receiver on this team was your best friend, Jason Witten, the guy you claim you could outrun, but you couldn't. But last night, Jason Witten caught One ball for 3 yards? And you won? You won fairly convincingly. At least the scoreboard says 28-17. Why did that happen? Because Dak Prescott took it upon himself to break contain, get outside the pocket, and on the dead run with the defender chasing him, he whips a strike across his body into the end zone to one Bryce Butler. Thank you. Bryce Butler is a stud. We're talking about 6'3", 220. Went to USC, didn't finish at USC, finished at San Diego State. He was only a 7th-round draft pick of the Raiders, but he's like a 4-4 guy who can get behind people, and he can do things that Des Bryant can no longer do. So what's Dak in his head thinking? Okay, I tried to go to 88 in Denver, and it blew up my face because it cost me 2 interceptions on my resume, and he didn't come up with a jump ball touchdown in the back of the end zone against Bradley Roby that could have at least made it respectable. We could have at least had an onside kick to sort of climb back in the game. And last night he says, I'm going to Bryce Butler. And then the second one is a call play, a bootleg, and he rolls out and whips it downfield for another huge gain. It looked like a touchdown for a second, but it was a big, a 53-yard gain. And it set up Ezekiel finally getting untracked and being able to do some eat, Zeke, eat. But that came late in the game, and that was the clinching touchdown. And then may I speak about the defense? Again, DeMarcus, Lawrence, Taylor. But Rod Marinelli's the unsung star of this show because I don't know how they did that. You want to talk about doing it with mirrors? Orlando Scandrick's playing with a broken hand with a plate in his hand. And there were 2 jump balls. One, Larry Fitzgerald made a great catch on it. But Scandrick, healthy, he picks that ball off because he had the best shot at the jump ball. But he can't catch. You know what it feels like, or I'm sure you've had broken bones somewhere in your wrist or hand, right?
No, I had a dislocated thumb, and I had to play with us.
Okay. It's not easy, man.
No.
All of a sudden, you have a hard time catching the ball.
Well, not dislocated, but I just had to play with a thumb split because I'm throwing too hard.
Okay. So, well, he did. Hey, he split a lot of webbings, right?
Yeah.
I don't know if he ever split yours, but he split a lot of the wideouts.
Well, early in my career, I couldn't use gloves because I was a 7th-round pick, and you only got 1 pair. And he would ruin them before the game would actually start if you were warming up. So I go out there and
You only got 1 pair?
That was a 7th-round pick. Skip, I did.
Well, you could go buy a pair, right? An extra.
I'm in the NFL, I'm gonna buy gloves.
They wouldn't give you a
Why wouldn't they
second
give you
set of
an
gloves?
No.
I don't believe that.
No. You had to work your way up. You just didn't hand out gloves like.
This is the National
Division
Football
II
League.
football or something.
Yeah.
Oh no, you okay?
Are you confusing the Broncos with Savannah State?
No. Savannah State, you bought your own gloves, yeah. And shoes, bought my own shoes too. But that's neither here nor there. Skip, stop trying to put down Savannah State. I love Savannah State.
So just remember, last night the Cowboys were without a starting corner. I'm not saying he's great, but he had 54 starts in Philadelphia named Nolan Carroll, and their best rookie through camp was Chidobe Awuzie. I think he's torn his hamstring, and it sounds like he might be gone for the whole year. So they throw 2 other rookies into the fire. Jordan Lewis, who I loved. I told you that he should have been a late 1st-round pick. He was a 3rd-round pick. And did he not stand up under fire last night? And then Xavier Woods, the other kid that they drafted as a safety, he got thrown in as a nickel sort of safety because they were only rushing 3 much of the night. Did he not stand up under fire? I don't know how they did it, but they held on and hung on, and it's gut and grit and lots of cliches that work when it comes to this Cowboy defense.
Correct.
And when you're talking about that Cowboy quarterback, you can throw all the cliches out you want to. Backbone, character, poise, leadership, whatever it is. This is a natural-born leader who makes plays without making mistakes. And it's a rare combination because usually when you're trying to make plays, what happens when you're a rookie or second-year quarterback? You throw it to the other team occasionally because you're forcing things. He doesn't force anything. He waits until the moment is right. He's patient. He's got no ego about it. He doesn't care who gets the credit or the ball. Whoever needs it gets it. And he got it to the right people at the right place at the right time. And the final score was 28-17. Do I love what happened last night? Do I love 2 out of 9 on 3rd down? No, but if you try 21-21 the first 2 downs and all of a sudden it's 3rd and 12, what do you think's going to happen?
And that's what they're not used to because
they're not used to it.
Last year, Zeke was getting between 5.5 and 6 yards on 1st down. So that made it 2nd and short, 3rd and short. Now they're asking. The thing that's most impressive, although he only had 18 pass attempts, he completed 13. But the 5 that didn't get completed didn't get intercepted. He didn't put the ball in harm's way. And Skip, when you don't have the ball that often, it's easy to start to press because you feel you need to make a play. You need to do something to jumpstart this offense. But he says, you know what? I'm just going to bide my time. They'll give me an opportunity somewhere down the line to make a play. And when the opportunity presented itself, he made a play. Made one with his leg, got outside the pocket, threw the ball downfield to Bryce Butler. So that's the thing that you're seeing from him. And I said it, the blueprint for the Dallas Cowboys, I'm going to force Dak Prescott to beat me. Oh, moving forward, Skip, and I know he's shown this game that he could do it, but I'm going to see over a period of time, because I know with 21, if he gets rolling, I already know. Now they're going to play past me and really throw the ball over my head. I'm going to see if Dak can continuously play like this, or will he get anxious? Will they get anxious when they fall behind 10-0 or say 14-3, 14, something like that?
21-3 in a playoff game. Did he get anxious then?
Yeah, that's why he threw that interception.
Oh.
But Aaron Rodgers,
28-28, 31-31.
And then it was 31-31, and they had the ball. What happened, Skip? Tell the people at home. They forgot.
56 yards
No,
from
no, no, no,
Mason
no, no, no,
crossbar
no, no, no.
and 51
Skip.
yards from Mason crossbar.
No.
2 luckiest field goals in the history of playoff
I'm
football.
asking you.
You know it, and
when
I
it was
know it. That's what happened.
31-31, the Packers didn't get a first down. They punted the ball to the Cowboys. It was 31-31.
So they
What
didn't get a
happened?
first down, and then we didn't get a first down.
Hold on. You mean to tell me you got that old guy, that doesn't fold under pressure, and he couldn't get a first down?
Well, you know what? Every once in a while, you get stopped in a game. Do you expect him to go 80 yards in 12 plays every time he touches the
That's
football?
what you told me.
If he does, then he's the greatest quarterback in the history of football already.
Can I do Skip Bayless sounds effect? Bing, 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 bing. He just went bing, bing, that. Oh, here you go. Here you go, Jason Witten. Here you go, Measley Beasley. Oh, here you go,
How many bings were there last night? No bings.
No.
There was one, boom, and then another, boom.
That's it.
And that was it.
Skip, I said I was
Do you
impressed.
realize the Cowboys entered the red zone 3 times last night, and what happened? 3 touchdowns.
Yes.
Dak Prescott. Carson Palmer entered the red zone 4 times, and what happened? 1 touchdown.
Yeah.
Wow.
That field goals gets you beat.
Wow.
Skip, I said I was impressed. Here I am trying to heap praise, and you over here trying to bash me. You won't let me give him
Day
credit.
after day after day, I have to sit across from a man who does not believe in Dak Prescott, or as you say, Dakota Prescott, because you
Cowboys,
believe
I don't
he
believe
was
in.
flash in the pan. You believe he was a one-hit wonder. You keep banging the table saying, wait till he gets up against Matt Ryan and Aaron Rodgers, and who else do they have to play?
Chiefs.
Alex Smith.
Okay, so you believe
Kareem Hunt.
if they play like they played last night, they can beat those 3 teams.
He does whatever is necessary, and I'm going to remind you, there was
Okay,
one,
what was necessary?
Wait a second. One late season game last year. Remember the one at Minnesota on a
Yes.
Thursday night? Same stats. Dak goes 12 of 18 for 139, and they got dominated in time of possession. Not quite as bad as last night, but they pulled it out 17-15. He does whatever is required to win whatever kind of game it is. If it's a shootout with Aaron Rodgers, he will throw for 300-plus yards
lost.
and score 31 points.
Yeah, you don't want to get in the shootout because he lost.
Well, he didn't lose. He got beat by 2 lucky field goals.
No, Aaron Rodgers. That's on Aaron Rodgers' resume.
56 yards? Did you see it?
Well, let me ask you a question. Does that loss go to Dan Bailey or does it go to Dak Prescott?
It goes to the Cowboys team. I'll
Okay.
give you that.
Oh,
They
don't
lost.
do this, Skip. So what happened last
34
week?
to
Can you
31.
tell me what happened last week in Denver?
Des Bryant missed 2 balls.
You hear that, Dez?
Yep.
He's blaming you,
I'm
Dez.
down on him. I'm off the bandwagon.
No, throw up the X.
Yeah.
You were throwing up the X. Joy.
I used to throw up the X, but that's what he threw up when a pass hit him right in the
he's just
hands.
throwing up now. He's just throwing up.
Dak hit him right in the hands, and he threw up the X, and it went right through his hands. Right?
Chris
Did it
Evans.
not go right through his hands? Huh?
Oh, you hear that,
You can't
Dez?
catch like that.
Look at your boy
Well, it's
now.
hard. You would know. This is a hard catch to make.
I'm just still trying to understand why you only got 1 pair of gloves.
Because it
Were
was.
you like budgeting on
Yes, it wasn't
equipment?
like. It's not like it is now, Joy.
Joy,
I mean,
it's
I
like
Would you play in the 1920s?
I played in
Hey.
1990s.
How old were
And
you?
they weren't giving out no, oh, yeah, you ripped your gloves and warm up? Okay, here's another player, Sharpe. No.
it's grumpy old man talk. It's I walk 5 miles to school in the snow barefoot.
What you're saying is insane.
Well, what I'm saying is true.
Well, okay, I believe you. I'm just saying it's a lot to absorb. It's the National
Yeah,
Football
but-
League. They couldn't give you an extra pair of gloves?
An extra, For a 7th rounder?
What, you have the boat motor in the hot tub too?
Why didn't you just stop by the sporting goods store? and
Why I
buy
got to do that if I'm playing in the
They only
NFL?
cost like $4.98, right?
You make it seem like I was making hundreds of thousands.
Well,
I
you
was
were
making
making enough.
63 grand.
That worked in that time? That was in 1978?
That was in that was in 1990.
Oh.
I had to get an apartment. I had to get a vehicle. My brother had to
I'll bet
co-sign.
you got a big vehicle.
No, I had a four-door Blazer. I ain't have no money, bread like that, Skip.
No mercy.
Dak Prescott threw 2 touchdown passes and ran for another in the Cowboys' win last night. We're joined by Fox NFL analyst Tony Gonzalez. Welcome, Tony. Good morning.
Morning. Good to be here.
Good morning, Tony.
Hey, Shannon. You look good today, buddy.
See, Skip.
Sarcastically,
You see,
he
I try to
said.
be Skip. I try to be nice. Hey, Tony, how you doing?
Yep.
Oh, hey, Shannon, how are you?
You just
you look
made
good
me
today.
No, you're not.
You look good.
Well, tell him what he said off camera, Joy.
I said he wears cut-off jean shorts and peanut butter boots in his off days, I
He
bet.
does.
No, I do not.
He does.
Skip wear tight pants, though.
Skinny jeans. How you a skinny jean guy?
Skip doesn't
You know,
skip
'cause
leg day like
I
you
can
do.
actually fit into
Yeah.
them as opposed to somebody across from me.
Oh.
150.
Skip, let me start with you. What grade would you give Dak last night?
I'm going to give him an A for last night because it's so hard to define off his stats because Dak Prescott is your basic game manager, extremely capable of making spectacular plays when necessary. So you look at the numbers and you say 13 of 18, this is what, for 183 yards, and you're giving him an A? It was the classic case of the game that Tony Romo would have lost because it was teetering, and Tony Romo would have said, we got no run game, I got to try this, and it's going the other direction. And then I got to try this, the other way. Remember the Carolina game on Thanksgiving when
Yep.
Tony came back 2 years ago? It was pick sixes going all directions, right?
Or your Cowboys versus the Broncos.
Ooh.
That hurt Skip,
Last
didn't it?
second play. Yep. After he throws
Gotta get over it.
506 yards. Well, it was a long time ago, but he had Peyton Manning on the ropes, and then he throws it to the guy in the orange, right? When you least expect it, or you should expect it. So Dak Prescott took over last year and changed the whole culture of the organization because he taught them through deed, not word, how to win close games. They had a game just like this later in the year last year up at Minnesota. His stats are pedestrian, and they pulled it out 17-15 because he made key plays. So last night, they're struggling. Zeke can't get a yard. The offensive line is getting its golden tails whipped. And what did he do? He said, I got to take this upon myself, and I'm gonna go dangerous here. I'm going to go high risk. I'm going to basically somersault over 2 DBs into the end zone because that's all we got right now, and it made it 7-7. And then he makes 2 plays on the run out of the pocket to somebody people forget about as underrated and underpublicized receivers they have. Bryce Butler, the only player he has who can get, because Dez can't get behind anybody anymore, as we talked about the other day. Bryce Butler at 6'3", 220 can fly, and he twice got behind the right DB, who is not Patrick Peterson, and Dak on the run throws a high-velocity strike both times to Bryce Butler. Those 2 plays won the game, so they go 3 times in the red zone, and Dak makes sure they go 3 for 3 in the red zone. Carson Palmer goes 4 times the red zone and goes 1 for 4. That's the game. And all of a sudden, the final score at 28-17 looks like Dallas won pretty handily. It wasn't handy at all. I was a pool of sweat at the end of the game because they only had the ball for 45 plays to 75 plays for the Arizona Cardinals. With that defense, you kept that defense on the field and you still won like that. It's all about the quarterback, and as Jason Garrett said, it's just he has an amazing spirit about him that everybody wants to follow. Mentally tough, makes crucial plays without making crucial mistakes. He played that whole game under duress, and they had 0 turnovers. So I got to give him an A, even though the stats scream C-.
Skip, I gave him an A also because if I'd have told you, if I said, Skip, the Cowboys are only going to run 45 plays, they're only going to possess the ball for a little over 23 minutes, and they'll have 273 yards of total offense, you're going to say they're going to lose.
Wow.
But the reason why he got an A is that he didn't force the issue, and he played error-free football. They really control Zeke. You mentioned it. 15 of his 18 carries went for 17 yards.
Yeah.
He got the bulk of that 88 in 3 carries.
He did.
So basically, we're asking Dak Prescott to make plays but don't put the ball in harm's way. Do you know how hard that is? Because think about it, I played on a team like that. I felt we could win as long as we didn't turn the ball over. Dak knows they don't have a defense that takes the ball away. They have one guy that can consistently get to the quarterback, but they're not a turnover opportunistic. They're not a Ravens or one of these teams that turn you over and take the ball away and get points out of it. So he knows he has to be extra cautious, but he has to be extra accurate because he's only going to get so many opportunities. 13 of 18. Normally when you see that, okay, 13 of 18, 183 yards, team won the ball game. How many yards did they rush for? Had to rush for 150. They had to rush for 200. No. You're like, huh? What? They had 30 fewer plays. The team had the ball, 13 more. What on here?
Wait, 2 for 9 on third down?
You know what happened?
Giving him an A?
How about this here? What happened in that ball game last night? Dak happened. That's it.
Oh, come on, Tony. Give him a C+.
No, I can't give him a C, but I got to agree with you guys. But for the same reasons that you guys said, too. I love the way he played and managed the clock and all. He didn't turn the ball over. But I love it because I think the juice, the greatness that players have, guys like Shannon Sharpe, guys, you're going to go through those tough times in your career. You're going to go through bad games. And he didn't play well last week. Him or Ezekiel didn't play well last week. Threw, what was it, 2 picks?
I didn't think they were his fault, but go ahead.
Well, whatever. He had 2 picks, and you respond. And
Didn't look
the
good.
way
Yep.
he came out and responded, that is where greatness lies. That is, to me, where I judge your play. How do you play after that bad game? Tom Brady didn't play well that first week. He goes against the next week and lights it up against the Saints. I know he's going against the Saints defense, but for a guy to come back and play the way he did, this is what makes him so special. This is why the Dallas Cowboys have a superstar elite quarterback in the making. He's going to keep getting better.
Yeah.
I loved everything about him. And what about those first 2 games? He was throwing the ball how many times to Dez?
Yeah.
And yesterday, only threw it to him twice.
Yeah.
And one went for -3, and the other one, he carried half the defense into the end zone.
But Dez is a personality. That's hard to do.
I know.
Yeah.
And that's what impressed you last year. Did you say that? How he was like.
He said, I'll throw it to him when he's open.
Throw it,
He didn't
and
say
I
that
think
about 88?
He got back to who he was.
In quarterbacks, you want them to be the smartest guy on the field, but you want them to have the shortest memory because you can't remember what happened last week.
Nope.
Because if you let last week creep into this week, you'll repeat last week's performance. And the great players, if you look at the great players, regardless of position, they don't normally put together 2 back-to-back bad games on tape. You might get them one week. You might get old Tom Brady. You might block Von Miller one week. But guess what? They're too great. They'll figure you out. And for Dak Prescott to play as poorly as the offensive unit did. Because here's the thing. As poorly as they played last week, if he has a similar game, they don't win, Skip. They don't win. He had to be flawless, and he was.
And also, what I love about this kid is, and he's still a kid to me, although he plays like a 35-year-old, but the script got flipped last night because they won last year consistently by dominating time of possession. They were number 2 in time of possession and number 1 in 5+ minute drives in the NFL last year. That'll work because you're going to keep that for average defense over there.
Correct.
Well, the average defense was out there in the sweat bath last night for 75 plays, but it's upside down, and the quarterback says, oh, well, maybe we got to do this, this, and this. So on 3 plays, he won a game that for a while I didn't think they were going to survive.
Yeah, and the way, and I'll take it even further. In fact, for me, I look at the players. I judge a player by how he responds after that bad game. You know, after a bad game, you were like, the next game, I can't wait to get back out there. And then you put it all on the line. The way they were quarterback lead powers, jumping over. Like, I was like, oh, don't hurt yourself when he drove into the end zone. I just thought it was great. That is where greatness lies, right in there, in how you respond to the bad times.
That guy, the game came down to 3 plays.
It did.
He made all 3 of them.
He did.
Sometimes it comes down to 1 play. We've seen guys that come down to 1 play and they make the wrong play. It came down to 3 plays, and every play that needed to be made, he made it. And that's how you see a guy starts on that trajectory towards greatness. He's not there yet. Skip.
I was about to say, you're just saying so many nice things about the Cowboys.
Yeah,
Starting to kinda freak
trying
me
to
out a
set
little
them
bit,
up
right?
for
Why would I do that, Skip? Who they play next week?
Rams.
Oh, let's go Rams.
Rams dangerous.
Let's go Rams.
Aaron Donald.
Aaron
Cody,
Donald.
thanks
Here he
for joining
comes.
us.
Robert Quinn.
No mercy.
Before the national anthem last night, the Cowboys walked to the middle of the field. Players, coaches, and execs, including Jerry Jones, took a knee. When the anthem started, the team moved back to the sideline to lock arms while standing. Take a listen to Jerry Jones on last night's decision.
We all agreed that our players wanted to make a statement about unity, and we wanted to make a statement about equality. They were easily or very much aware that that statement, when made or when attempted to be made, in and a part of the recognition of our flag, can not only lead to criticism but also controversy.
We're joined by Rob Parker. Good morning, Rob.
What's
Welcome.
happening? Good morning.
Rob, did you like what the Cowboys did?
Absolutely not. We've heard of fake news. That was a fake protest. And I was embarrassed, Shannon, for the black players who took part in a fake protest that was all about Jerry Jones. This was about Jerry. Jerry is the one who can go back to his country club and win the bet that his players didn't do that, and he kept them in.
I don't think Jerry is a member of a country club, just for the
Okay.
record. He's not that kind of guy. But go ahead.
This is my point
Yeah, all right.
that he can make the phone call to Trump and say, you see, my guy, I kept mine in line. They didn't do that. That's what that was about. And it's a mockery about all that really is what this is about. Here we go again. You're being led astray and bamboozled into doing something that's not real. This thing is real about inequality, about what's happened to those unarmed black men who were killed. That's what this is all about. And then all the people in our history who had the dogs sent on them, who were water hosed, who were beaten and stoned, do not forget that. This is not some TV show and you're trying to justify and make people feel. We keep talking about it, Shannon. What do we talk about? A protest is not supposed to feel comfortable. It's not supposed to be something so that everybody can feel good at the end of the night. That defeats the whole purpose of it. And that's what that was. Yeah. It was orchestrated.
Controlled. This was a controlled protest. Jerry says, this is what we're going to do. This is how we're going to do it. But Skip, what makes people that take this leap of faith, that go in and says, this is what I believe is, this is what I believe in, and this is what I'm going to do? You don't think Muhammad Ali got blowback? You don't think Rosa Parks and Dr. King's? Even though all the blowback that they got, Skip, you uppity this. How dare you, even from their own community. You don't think people said, Rosa, now all the time you done gave up your seat. Why today you causing trouble now, Rosa? Even though they said, you know what, with all this blowback, I believe I'm right. And what we're seeing, the slightest bit of blowback, when they thought they could unite for the league, they got a little blowback, and you hear Ben walking it back. You hear Art Rooney II, he walking it back. Everybody's having regret. Skip, can I ask you, there was Dez, and I meant to get to Dez the last time. You know, Dez chimed in and said, President Trump, he can't talk about our league. We showing solidarity. Now, in August, he said Dez didn't want to chime in because he said he got a family to feed. I guess he ain't got no more family now because he showed chiming in on some issues. What, is his family, he ain't got no family to feed anymore? But you see, when Jerry say speak, guess what happened? Dez got so much to say. Now, when they was asking him about this in social media, they was asking me I got family to feed. I see what's going on.
Shannon, you want the Cowboys, would you take part in that?
I hope I couldn't be on the Cowboys because Jerry's putting me in a very uncomfortable situation because he's putting me in a situation where I'm trying to make him look good. And it's not about the protest. It's not about the flag. I'm going to show you that we believe in the flag. I'm going to show you we believe in the anthem. While what Colin Kaepernick originally kneeled for, we're not going to discuss that. So therefore, I'm going to look good. Now, I'm glad, thank you, that he didn't put me in a situation because I don't really know how I would handle it. I would probably be like Colin Kaepernick because I'm going to be a team guy. I really am, Skip, because I believe in whatever we decide as a team, I'm going to go with it. If the coach says 3:30, I'm going to be there on time. If he says wear this, he said shirt and tie. Mike used to say shirt and tie. Okay, I don't want you guys to wear shirt and tie, but I do want you to wear a jacket and a collared shirt. Okay, fine, no problem with that. But I wouldn't want Jerry to put me in that situation because I'm doing this for all the wrong reasons. And if you're not in, it's easy to get swayed like, man, I can't sleep at night, Skip. I can't. This bothers me, and I don't want to get drawn into politics. And that's what we're seeing, a lot of waffling because their hearts weren't in it to begin with, and they're doing it for all the wrong reasons.
Okay, the only way I can answer this question is I have to put myself back into context. Before a show on First Take on ESPN probably 3 years ago, I said I want to talk about the killing of unarmed black men by white cops because it's completely out of control and we need to address this issue. And we did, and I continued to campaign against that all the way into the first year of Undisputed. So that's where I come from. I grew up very differently, I would say, dare say, more enlightened than Jerry Jones grew up in Little Rock, Arkansas. Even though I grew up fairly close, I just came from a very different situation and background than Jerry did. Go back and look at what happened at Little Rock Central High School when Jerry Jones was there. So you can call me naive, you can call me out of touch, but I was, in a way, touched by what I saw last night because that whole team agreed to do something, to take a small step in the right direction.
They're agreeing
led
to
by,
Jerry tell them.
I don't know. I think they could have protested. They could. They protested Jerry.
Come on.
And no. And listen, for Jerry Jones to come from Little Rock Central High School to kneeling the way Colin Kaepernick did to start this whole thing back, whatever it was, 14 months ago, it's huge. And to Dez's credit, he said after the game, Jerry Jones took a shot at our president. He did. And you can say for all the wrong reasons because the president threatened his bottom line and said your ratings are plummeting because people are booing and I encouraged them to leave your stadiums when there are anthem protests. Whatever the reasons were, it's a small positive step. And I saw Malcolm Jenkins, for whom I think you have respect because he's become a leader of the black movement within the NFL, right? So I'm on SportsCenter last night talking about how proud he was of the way everybody pulled together, the solidarity, the unity that the entire league showed against our president on Sunday. Well, this was an even stronger statement led by Jerry Jones, who's as staunchly against these anthem protests. For Jerry to kneel the way Colin did a moment before the anthem is a huge compromise on his part, and it's a point in your favor. It's just a small point, but it's a point because it took a lot for him to do that.
If we grade him on a curve, why not just go ahead and give him 100? Because he's not kneeling for the same reason Cap.
You're not understanding where he came from to where he kneeled.
Skip, think about this. If you ask Malcolm Jenkins said, yeah, I'm happy about the solidarity we showed when someone tried to attack us. Ask Malcolm
But you were completely unhappy.
Malcolm, are you happy with the solidarity the league is showing about this racism that's going on in America and the killing of the unarmed black men and the injustices that we see in America? Are you as equally as pleased as the solidarity they showed Sunday for that?
But Shannon, it's just a small step toward progress.
But damn, Skip, we got to go to the moon. We got to move a little faster, Skip.
But Skip, the only thing is I think if Jerry, I just needed it to be, I didn't get the feeling that it was all the way real, in that it was orchestrated to be like, for most people who didn't know it was pre-anthem, when you just see the picture,
That's what
Exactly.
Didn't you just go like, oh my God, Jerry Jones kneel during the national anthem?
Well, he's not going to do that.
Okay, but
he's not going
but
to.
that was the picture that he wanted out there, that people thought that he had compromised or given in. But he didn't change what he said.
Trust me.
He said that he would never allow his team to do it.
Thank you.
Hey, there's sponsors of the Dallas Cowboys that Jerry cares a lot about. They did not love it that he knelt the way Colin Kaepernick knelt on the football field.
Can I ask you a question? Were those same sponsors as disappointed and with that same fan base as disappointed that he gave President Trump $1 million? You see, if you notice, they don't worry about sponsors and fan base as long as they're doing something they want to do.
When they're doing what they want to do.
But there's a time when people see the light. Robert Kraft saw the light and attacked President Trump, one of his closest friends in the world.
And guess what he's going to do?
You don't think that's significant?
And guess what he's going to do?
And you guys say, nah, that doesn't mean
anything. And guess what he's going to do?
It means everything.
If President Trump runs for re-election, instead of giving him $1 million, you're going to give him $5 million next time. Oh, well, he's so enlightened. Skip, think about it, Skip. You know your best friend. If one of your best friends were to run for office, you've been his friend for 30 years. You know that friend. You don't think they know who President Trump is. They do actually think this is the first time for them like, oh my goodness, this is not what I signed up for. After everything he said over the last 50 years, this was the first time that he said something that shocked them, Skip. Do you actually believe that?
He attacked the National Football League. He even attacked it on the field saying, I can't watch it anymore. They call these penalties.
So guess what, Rob? I'd rather for you to attack a Gold Star family, Rosie O'Donnell, Senator McCain, who was a POW, and any minorities, but just don't attack the, you see?
Don't attack the league.
Just don't attack the league. Think about that now. Think about Skip, think about what you just said. He attacked the league, but President Trump has been attacking minorities for 50 years. But because he attacked the league, this is where we drew the line. This is where we say, oh, no, Trump. No, President Trump, you got to stop this.
I just wish I really felt like it was really about the issue and not about Jerry Jones. That's what I got last night. But this was about
Donald Trump
Jerry's show.
The issue. And they're all turning on Donald Trump, and you say it means nothing.
They ain't turned on no Donald Trump.
Baloney, they're not.
Skip.
Baloney. Stop it.
Let me ask you a question.
They all did.
Okay, let me ask you a question. Did I turn on Ray Lewis? Have I turned on Ray Lewis?
What does that have to do with this?
What it has to do with this, they've been their friends. It's okay to call a friend out. I'm not going to turn my back on Ray Lewis. He's still going to be my friend. I disagree with what he said and what he did. That's all they did, Skip. Hey, keep your eye right here, Skip. They playing the shell game with you, and your eyes going all over the place. No. Keep it right here, Skip.
You won't take any progress. Even the small step you say, that doesn't mean anything. It's all about that. Skip. It's all about everything that you want. It's a small step toward some equality.
Can I ask you a question? Okay, how about,
it's a lot of people being enlightened, coming to groups
Okay, let me ask you this, Skip. Let's just say you're going to drive from San Francisco to Miami. And when you get down to L.A., you turn around and go back to San Francisco. And you start again. And this time you come down to San Diego, you turn. How long is it going to take you to get there? We've been fighting for this since 1619. Now, when are we going to start taking all these little baby steps forward? We'll be driving real far in reverse. When do we do that? When do we go faster forward than we do backwards?
I don't know. I've told you racism is a huge problem in this country, but
I'm not trying to solve it overnight. But can we talk about it?
No mercy. Steelers players took a team vote and decided to wait in the tunnel during the national anthem on Sunday, but offensive lineman Alejandro Villanueva chose to stand outside the tunnel away from his team with his hand over his heart during the anthem. Villanueva is a former Army Ranger and served in Afghanistan. ESPN reported some Steelers players were surprised by the move. Yesterday, Villanueva said there was a miscommunication and added, quote, I made my teammates look bad and that is my fault and my fault only. Ben Roethlisberger had his own regrets about the Steelers' decision, saying, I was unable to sleep last night and want to share my thoughts and feelings on our team's decision to remain in the tunnel for the national anthem yesterday. The idea was to be unified as a team when so much attention is paid to things dividing our country, but I wish we approached it differently. We did not want to appear divided on the sideline with some standing and some kneeling or sitting. As a team, it was not a protest of the flag or the anthem. I personally don't believe the anthem is ever the time to make any type of protest. Moving forward, I hope standing for the anthem shows solidarity as a nation, that we stand united in respect for the people on the front lines protecting our freedom and keeping us safe. Shannon, what did this tell you?
We got a lot going on here, Skip. And let me try to take Mr. Villanueva first, who bravely served 3 tours, I think, in Afghanistan as an Army Ranger. I think he was a Ranger.
Leader of a rifle platoon. Got a Medal of Honor.
He is to be commended for his service. Skip, I don't have a problem with him standing for the national anthem. My thought was that this is what we discussed as a team. If, like I said, if we say we're going to wear fatigues, don't somebody show up with khakis, because this is what we discussed as a team. In the military, there's protocol. You don't get to say, well, I've got 7 years of this and you only got 3 years, so we're going to do it our way. When the commander speaks, we follow in line. So whatever Mike Tomlin and the leaders said, I thought that was going to be it. I don't get to miss curfew and say, well, guys, I didn't roll a miss curfew. Yes, you did. That was your intentions. So if he says it was, he got sideswiped, he's coming out and people was coming in, okay. But I want to talk about Ben. Ben says, again, he talked about the anthem. Ben says he couldn't sleep. Ben, I got some phone numbers I want you to call Tamir Rice. I want you to call Philando Castillo. I want you to call Freddie Gray, mom. They can't sleep. See, you couldn't sleep that last night. Freddie Gray mom hadn't slept in a year. Tamir Rice mom hadn't slept in 3 years. See, Ben, you get afforded luxuries that a lot of black men in this country don't get afforded. And he's having regrets, or he had second thoughts. Skip, can you imagine if one of his teammates to say, you know what, I had second thoughts about showing my support for Ben about what transpired in Georgia. Oh, my.
That's a good point.
Skip, that's what he just did.
Yep.
That's what he just did. See, the protest was never about the anthem. Someone had a great quote on social media yesterday. They say, Skip, do they actually think Rosa Parks was boycotting the public transportation, or was she or was she trying to draw attention that why should I have to go to the back of the bus when the Constitution and the flag say we're all to be treated equal? She wasn't boycotting public transportation.
I think that's pretty obvious. Yeah.
Dr. King didn't order sit-ins because the food was terrible. He was trying to get equal service as being a citizen of the United States. We keep talking about the flag, we keep talking about the anthem, and even President Trump has interjected himself, and now he's become a part of the equation, and we're still not talking about the real issues that a lot of these blacks were kneeling for to begin with. That's what they're trying to draw attention to. And then Art Rooney II says, he didn't want to get involved in politics. Skip. His dad, Mr. Dan Rooney, was an ambassador to Ireland. Whose dad founded the Pittsburgh Steelers, who he was the owner, and he was running it for his dad. So the Pittsburgh Steelers have always been involved in politics. Now, what we're starting to see, Skip, is that what they thought would be a good gesture, where they would unite, they were uniting against President Trump because he called some of their players SOBs, and he was challenging the billionaires, their authority. You should fire them, and he was going to affect their bottom line, which is money. But when they got the booze, now everybody's trying to walk it back. Ben Roethlisberger is moonwalking. Art Rooney II is moonwalking. We've got a lot of these owners moonwalking, Skip, because they've gotten the blowback, even though they thought they were doing something positive. Because, again, we don't want to seem disrespectful to the anthem. Nobody's kneeling in protest for the anthem. If you're going to kneel, why even come out? It's not about the anthem. Colin told you when he was sitting down, Skip, and people were like, well, Colin, when the national anthem was playing, why were you sitting down? Well, I'm sitting down because the unarmed black men and women that's getting killed in America, the injustices, the inequality that I see in America is not right. So that's what I'm protesting. He told you what it was. He said it's not about the veterans. He said that out of his own mouth, Skip. He said it's not about the veterans. It's not about the military. It's not about the flag. I'm telling you what I'm doing. He says, you know what? Y'all think that's disrespectful, me sitting? I'm going to take a knee. That's what he did. But what we're seeing, that's not good enough. Peaceful protest isn't good enough. We want you silenced. And we're going to keep trying to hush you. We're going to keep trying to sweep it up under the rug, and eventually we hope it'll go away. Sometimes we tell you if you don't like America and what's going on, you should move away. Well, it's bursting at the seams, Skip. It's like a landfill. You can only put so much trash in and cover it up before it's what? You got to find a new place. Well, all these holes that you try to sweep racism under and to try to make me think that it didn't exist because Shannon Sharpe and a few other black people make millions of dollars? No. It's the millionaires like Shannon Sharpe and these other and LeBron James that's speaking for the penniless. If you saw when Jordan Sparks was she was singing the national anthem, what she had on the hand that you could see.
Yeah.
That wasn't an accident. Skip, it's alive and well. I wish people could see it and see past the flag and the anthem.
Okay, just for the record, are you suggesting that Ben, with his statement, Ben Roethlisberger, revealed some racist tendencies?
I don't think I just think that the blowback that he got gave him to pause, and he's trying to walk back. Well, that wasn't my idea. That's not really what I wanted to do.
Was he being, in your view, blindly patriotic?
He was being blindly Ben Roethlisberger, and the masses had gotten upset with him, and I'm sure he got something on Twitter because it's being reported that a volunteer fire chief just got fired in Pittsburgh for posting on his Facebook called Mike Tomlin a no good end with the ER at the end. So we know it's alive and well and kicking. Skip, I just think that Ben is having, because of the blowback is so great, and what he thought he was standing up for, which is to show solidarity with the blacks against President Trump, his teammates against President Trump, even that wasn't good enough. So he's like, man, I can't sleep at night.
And by the way, to my point that I keep telling you, Pittsburgh is in a what color state? Just for the record. Just want to get that.
It's supposed to be
get that
blue.
out there. Okay, it's supposed to be blue, but that's a red thing, right? In your view. Okay. Now, back to the Steelers. This is all very confusing to me.
Very.
But the bottom line is, this was a divided football team Sunday at kickoff.
Yes.
It just was.
Yep.
And did that manifest itself in a lack of focus against the Chicago Bears that had just lost 29-7 at Tampa? They gave up. Pittsburgh did 220 yards rushing and lost to the Bears.
Yeah.
Did that have something to do with the mindset, the lack of focus? I don't know. Maybe. Because now Villanueva is saying that he talked to both Ben and to Casey Hayward. Is that Casey Hayward?
Yeah, Casey Hayward.
Yeah. And the two captains gave him, first he said they gave him permission to stand alone. But then he said, I didn't mean to stand alone. And I'm like,
now you see why I'm confused as you are. Because he said once he got caught up, Skip, that people were coming out, and he didn't realize his teammates were so far back.
Right. And then he stood outside the tunnel, and then he said it was too late, and all of a sudden the anthem has started, so he just stopped and put his hand over his heart. Okay, got it. But yesterday, I applauded Mike Tomlin for taking over his football team and coming to a unified decision that doesn't appear that unified now.
No.
And the point I missed yesterday was it is now a little disconcerting that Mike Tomlin and his assistant coaches decided to go out and stand through the anthem on the sideline as always.
Right.
Okay, well, that's separating coaching staff from team. I don't love that either.
Skip, for me, as being a leader, we're not going to discuss anything Saturday and Sunday because we're going to have this ironed out on Friday. What we, as a team, whatever we decide, Skip, I can live with it. But we're going to do it as a team. It's not going to be 2 guys standing. It's not going to be 15 guys kneeling. It's not going to be the coaches. So whatever we decide as a team.
The remarks were made in Huntsville on Friday night, or that's when we first heard about it.
Right. Or before we board the plane.
Yes.
I believe the Steelers left Saturday.
Yep.
So they had a Saturday meeting that morning. So before that Saturday afternoon, we're going to discuss what we're going to do as a team.
Got it.
So whatever we decide, Skip, I can live with it. I might not agree with it, but if the majority say, Shannon, we're going out and we're going to stand, that's what we're going to do.
And they had no majority, I guess. And now I'm with you. I don't love it that Ben walked it back. It looks bad. It comes across wrong. They were completely ununited.
Yes.
Right?
Yes. I mean, and Villanueva said, I didn't want to be alone, but then I was alone, and they told me I could go do it because they're looking. And then the coaches on the sideline.
Yeah.
Look, I don't want to minimize what Chicago did because Chicago played very well. But Skip, there's a lot going on here, and like Mike Tomlin says, this is not the reason we lost, but it gives you a glimpse is that we all need to be on the same accord.
Okay. So whether you liked it or dismissed what the Cowboys did last night, at least you got to give them this much. They were together on it, I'm pretty sure. It looked like it to me. I didn't hear anything after the game.
It should have been whatever Mike Tomlin decided.
Yes.
Let's ride with that. Because when you get 53 guys from different walks of life, and somebody's dad was in the military, somebody served in the military, you're going to get a difference of opinion. Mike Tomlin is the voice. So whatever he decides, I'm going to ride with whatever he says.
Yeah, it's Cameron Hayward.
Cameron.
Yeah, that's what
Casey plays with the Chargers.
Yeah, and this is exactly why you don't get involved in things that your heart is not in. Because everyone's trying to play the fence, and this, I'm right down the middle. I feel this way, but I understand this side.
When you're on the fence, guess what happens? When you keep jumping, because you keep jumping on the side that you're trying to please. So you hop up on the fence, and this side is mad at you. I'm going over here. Well, they mad. I got to come back over here.
If it's not in your heart, don't get involved.
No mercy.
Next up, the Cavs had their media day yesterday, so of course LeBron was asked about Kyrie. LeBron said he had not talked to Kyrie since the trade request was reportedly made in July. Let's take a listen to LeBron yesterday.
I try to do whatever I could do to help the kid out, be the best player he can be, try to help him, be a better leader, be a better scorer, a better floor general, a better defender, a better passer, getting guys involved, a better leader vocally. I try to give him everything and give him as much of the DNA as I could, because like I told you guys throughout the season, at some point when he was ready to take over the keys, I was ready to give them to him. So the only thing I'm upset about is that he took a lot of the DNA and the blueprints now to Boston. That's the only thing I'm upset about, really. Other than that, I mean, I wish the kid great health, and the kid wanted to do what was best for his, I guess, for his career. And I give credit to our GM, Kobe, and our to the ownership for granting that for him.
Shannon, what did this tell you?
Tells me LeBron still can't find it his heart to mention Dan Gilbert by name. He says ownership.
That's
Skip, what we have here is, and Kyrie even said during the playoffs that he didn't want it to be a Kobe Shaq situation. And I think Kobe and Shaq fell out because Kobe was so dedicated. Mm-hmm. He came in every year in the best possible shape, and Kobe didn't think Shaq was giving it his all in the offseason to come back to be the best possible Shaq that he could be. Well, that's not the case for LeBron. It's reported that he spends in excess of $2 million a year. Personal trainers, physio, masseuses, dietitians, making sure everything that he's operating in peak capacity. Skip, you know this. He's heaped praise on Kyrie, saying Kyrie has MVP potential. Skip, how many 4-time MVPs, 3-time final MVPs? You want to take the last shot? Go ahead. You want to take over the game? I stand over here in the corner and let you have it. Do you, bro? I'm good. You the man. Hey, T. Lou, let Kyrie take this last shot in Game 7. Hey, he got it going. Let him go. That's not what he wanted. And LeBron is racking his, what could I do? Was it because I came back to begin with that you got so upset with it? Was it because of the shine that people, no matter what goes on, no matter how well you play, that I'm still going to get some credit even if I only have 17 points, you have 35, they're going to mention those 12 assists and those 13 rebounds I had also because I had a triple-double. What was it? I tried to help you at every turn. But, Skip, you can only help someone that wants to be helped. And when they want to move on, Skip, you just got to let them go. And LeBron, don't you lose no sleep over wondering what you could have done or what you should have done differently. Because at the end of the day, this is all about Kyrie. Kyrie wanted to be elsewhere. Why he wanted to be elsewhere? And he's like, well, I don't have to give anybody a reason. Well, actually, you probably should because you requested a trade. They didn't trade you. You went for some reason. You wanted out of Cleveland, and you wanted out bad. I don't really think that's asking too much, Skip. I really don't. It's not like he was a free agent. Kevin Durant is one thing. Kevin Durant was free. He had fulfilled his obligation to the OKC Thunder organization. Kyrie Irving had 2.5 years, 2 years plus an option on his contract. And all of a sudden, you just want out after going to 3 straight finals. You won the finals the previous year. And all of a sudden, you're like, nah, I want to bounce. You can't understand why people think that might be
Kyrie had fulfilled one obligation to Cleveland. He'd made the shot of shots in Game 7 to win a championship. Kevin Durant did not do that for Oklahoma City, right?
No, he didn't, but he made the shot. LeBron, told T. Lou, whatever. We're going to gloss over the chase down. We're going to gloss over that triple-double. We're going to gloss over that he led every player that touched the court in every statistical category. We'll gloss over that. We'll make it about Kyrie. And still, even though Kyrie made the shot heard around the world, that wasn't enough for him.
It was not. That's a fact. So my big picture takeaway from all I heard from LeBron yesterday was it was absolutely brilliant. LeBron was at his greatest doing his media sessions because he puts a lot of thought into it and he executes it brilliantly.
Yes.
And the first thing he did was, I don't know what more I could have done, and it turns LeBron into the victim here, like he was victimized by Kyrie, like I don't know what was happening. And then he went into the classic passive-aggressive mode that he is so great at, and between the lines, he was actually criticizing Kyrie for all of his perceived or criticized shortcomings. And he's saying, I tried to help him with his leadership, with his playing point guard, his ball distribution, basically, running the show, and with playing defense. I tried to help him on all three fronts, and I guess it just wasn't enough. And I think 5 times he called him the kid. It's a little bit of a put down. He's still a kid. He doesn't know what he's doing. He's immature. He'll wake up and realize that the grass isn't greener in Boston. And I'm going to say this again. Kyrie left because he couldn't take LeBron James anymore. And I reported this the day after that happened, after Kyrie announced. I told you, I have a source close to Kyrie who told me that Kyrie had come to believe that LeBron was more about himself than about the team, and that LeBron is not all that he's cracked up to be by the media behind closed doors. And Kyrie was just sick and tired of everything LeBron in the locker room, on the bench, and on the court. And I said the same things about Kevin Durant. I reported probably 3 years before he left, he was just going to leave. At first option, he was out, that he just couldn't take playing with Russell Westbrook. He liked him personally off the floor, and I can't say that for Kyrie and LeBron because Kyrie does not love LeBron off the floor, and they had a couple of personal differences that I don't want to get into, but there was bad blood, and it escalated from the point that LeBron chose to take his talents back to Cleveland. And it was a shock of shocks because it was, 8 days after Kyrie had committed long-term that he thought it was going to be his show, his team, his city, and the king returns. And it was a shocker. And Kyrie had to swallow a lot of pride and say, well, I guess I got to make this work. And to his credit and to LeBron's credit, they made it work. They won a championship. But Kevin Durant, I told you, wanted out because ultimately he just didn't think he could win a championship with Russell Westbrook dominating the ball the way he does. And maybe we'll find that Melo and Paul George come to the same conclusion fairly quickly. But the point here is, I reported this, and I'm going to stand by what I reported, and people can say, oh, you just hate LeBron, you're just making this up. I'm not making it up. This is the truth. It's why Kyrie, when people say, did you call LeBron before you asked for a trade? He's like, no, because he's not going to call LeBron. He doesn't like LeBron. He doesn't want to be around LeBron anymore. And he went out of his way to embrace a situation that's in the Eastern Conference that is on collision course for the Eastern Conference Finals. Kyrie wants to go head-to-head with his, quote-unquote mentor. He wants LeBron in the conference finals.
Can I ask you a question, Skip? LeBron mentioned about leadership, and he said he was trying to work with Kyrie on that. Would you consider Kyrie a leader?
I don't know yet because he was a baby when he tried to lead the Cavaliers pre-LeBron.
Okay, what
LeBron is clearly the dominant force.
Okay, what leader or thought to be leader would go weeks without speaking to teammates?
He's very unhappy playing with LeBron.
So
LeBron dominates.
So I just want to make sure I'm right. Just make sure I'm hearing this.
Well, you know what? It's a good question. We're about to find out because now he's in a situation where he can display his leadership.
So all great leaders are always in a great situation. They never have bad days. And so if you want to be in a leadership position, it's okay if you don't want to speak to people. Okay, noted.
Okay, but remember, he thought he was positioned to become the leader of that basketball team, and all of a sudden, LeBron James comes home to Cleveland. Who's going to be the leader? Help me out.
As the leader of that team, they got Andrew Wiggins, Anthony Bennett, Dion Waiters as the leader of that team. Second of all, okay, LeBron James, 4-time MVP, 3-time final MVP. Skip, if you don't mind me asking, who took the most shots last year in the regular season for the Cavaliers?
You tell me. What'd your researcher look?
Don't do that, Skip. Don't do that. Don't do that.
I don't
know.
Me
and Steve got us a great working relationship. Yeah. Me and Steve always, we got this thing. Okay, let me ask you this, Skip. Okay, he said he's trying to make him a better assist. Of the point guards, would you take Harden, Russ, or John Wall?
Shannon, these are all wrong-headed questions because now we're about to find out. I told you his assists will go up by 3 or 4 a game.
Well, why didn't they? Let me ask you a question. Why didn't they go up by 3 or 4 assists a game when LeBron was off the court? And he was on the court.
LeBron ran the show. He ran everything. He
When
ran the locker
when
room.
LeBron was not in the lineup, he was out. He was in street clothes. Kyrie Irving's assists did not go up, but his shots and his points did. I'm asking, if LeBron is not on the court, he's not taking shots, he's not
You're
dominating the ball.
looking back, and I'm looking forward. I'm looking to what's about to happen with the Boston Celtics because I think Kyrie will take over the franchise. He will dominate the basketball. He will be the point guard. And then we'll see what your stats say. And you can ask Steve Owens, what's happening now with Kyrie? And Steve will tell you. And then you can repeat it back to me.
Hold on, time out. I thought the question was, we was talking about LeBron was ready to give Kyrie the key.
I don't care what happened in the past. I don't care.
So we
it's
looking
LeBron's
at
show.
Hold on, so now we're looking at the future. I didn't know we were talking about the
Kyrie
future.
had one role and one role only with the greatest player ever,
well,
LeBron James. He was the closer.
Okay.
That's it. Period. End of story.
Since we're not talking about the past, okay, can you tell me in the year 2019 what's Kyrie going to be doing? Since we're talking about the future.
2019?
Yeah.
What do you mean, what's he going to be doing?
Yeah.
Like who's going to be married to?
No.
I don't know.
What's he going to be doing? Because I thought we were talking about what's LeBron saying, and we were talking about what led to this and what LeBron was trying to say.
I'm just talking about 2017, 2018 season. I already told you what's going to happen.
No.
Everything's going to go up. Assists are going to go way up, so like significantly up for Kyrie.
But you can't explain to me why they didn't go up when he was on the team.
I told you it's LeBron's show. It's his team.
Oh, so even when he's not on the court.
Different role.
So as the point,
he played two guard. He was the two guard.
when
He's
LeBron
the closer.
when LeBron wasn't playing.
LeBron needed a closer because we know he comes apart down
Okay,
the
LeBron-
stretch.
so-
That's not what he does best.
okay, perfect.
So he needed a closer and he doesn't have one. So help me out. In 2017, 2018, who's going to close for LeBron? That's a key question. Man, I don't know.
So you said.
Help me out.
so
Give me
you-
an answer.
It doesn't matter. So you believe the Celtics will beat the Cavaliers?
Yeah, I already told you that. I told you that the first day. They're going to beat them head-to-head in the conference finals. LeBron's aging. His team is aging.
Okay.
No mercy. Thanks for listening to the Undisputed Podcast. I'm Joy Taylor. We're back at the same time tomorrow morning, 9:30 Eastern. We'll see you then.
Fox Sports 1 of 1.